Welcome back. You may or may not know, I'd like to reiterate that for the past couple of years, new home constructions have pretty much doing their best to stabilize the supply of home inventory versus demand because the resale homes category, the resale homes, most mortgage homeowners are locked in at the historic low mortgage rate. So therefore, due to the lock-in effect, there has been a crash of home sales in the past few years on a historic basis. So uh, giving a supply and demand of inventory crisis that we have experienced for the past 2 years. So as a result, one silver lining that has occurred in the past 2 years, ever since the rising of the mortgage rate, is that the new builders, the new construction, they are doing their best to supply consumers, the home buyers, with new builds, new inventory. So although the new construction home industry has only supplied around 15% of the total home sales transactions in the past couple of years, nevertheless is helping, right? Without new construction, then the supply of inventory will be way more severe than we have experienced. The home builders are saving us because they are not only they are supplying their small share, contributing to giving more to create more sales, more purchases, and more inventory for home buyers to buy. They are also giving away incentives. They're discounting the rates. They are incentivizing home buyers to buy new construction, and they are buying down the rates to as low as 4 to 5% instead of the normal mortgage rate that we have seen right now at 7.07% as of today, 14 April, per the Mortgage News Daily. But the, I hate to break the news to you, but this, what I'm going to go over right now, is going to affect you. The housing prices is going to cost even more. So that's pretty devastating news. So if this, what I'm about to share with you, if this situation occurs right now in real time, in the foreseeable future, home prices will rise. Not is what you think. Home prices, especially new construction homes, will increase their prices. They have no other option but to do that. Why, you ask? Just bear with me, and I'm going to share you the headline as to why the housing market is due to a home price being increasing is not what you think. And the headline I'm going to go over is Trump hikes China tariff to 125%, but pauses most others. So President Trump recently, a few days ago, have placed a 90-day pause on tariffs against 56 countries and the European Union. However, here's the big catch I'm sharing with you. This is breaking news. However, he's raising the tariff rate on a critical trade partner for home builders, China. That levy is now an astronomical 125% effective immediately. So Trump and China are engaged in an escalating tit for tat. Last week's quote unquote Liberation Day tariffs added 34% to the already 20% Trump placed on China at the beginning of his term. China responded with a 34% tariff on the US, and the two parties exchanged 50% levies on Tuesday. So as you can see, this chart, share of construction imports by country and tariff rate. And of course, the main country that are importing materials are China, Mexico, Canada, Vietnam, Taiwan, Germany, Japan, India, South Korea, and Thailand. And as you can see the chart in China being the most percentage-wise is the greatest importing, exporting. The situation is a nightmare for home builders. According to the National Association of Home Builders, NAHB, 27% of all of imports used in residential construction come from China, 27%. And John Burns Real Estate Consulting study conducted prior to Wednesday, this past April, first week of April, estimated that the tariff will add $12,800 to the cost of building a home. So if the potential cost of buying a new home in the foreseeable future will add to $12,800, and we're talking a median price of a home in the U.S., which is around $400,000. So here's my math. In the future, if you could potentially buy a new home through one of the national builders, it'll cost you additionally $13,000 more than you expect to pay. That's regardless of what's going on in the economy, regardless of what doesn't have nothing to do with the supply demand issue or the mortgage rate or here or there. You're going to pay more to buy a new house from now on. On an average price of a $400,000 home, you have to pay around $13,000 more. On a home that costs more, and let's just do the math. On a home that costs $600,000 or $800,000 new build, you're gonna have to pay another extra $26,000. So the home builders their profit margin is such that they will not be able to give you as much incentive to buy a house as they have been recently in the past 12 to 24 months. All the rate buy down, all the paying the closing costs and this and that, and discounting their home prices. So no more discount. You're not potentially, when you buy a new house, no more deals, not as much deals as before, at the very least. As if that's all we need. We're charting that the home affordability is at a 4-year or low as it is. A lot of people are priced out of the home purchase market. With this tariff situation with China and with other countries, and the rising cost of home building. Not only that, we're talking Trump has gone through some deportation of illegal immigrants from the U.S. So a lot of those immigrants, they are a very viable part of the construction industry. They provide the labor and the trade to build new homes. And so the labor shortage that are needed to build new homes these days has decreased dramatically. With the increasing home building costs, it's just a double, triple whammy. So let's continue with this article. China provides significant amounts of hardware, appliances, glass, and plumbing fixtures for home builders. Further, China is more reliant on exporting to the U.S. than the other way around. So, share of imported goods by country in 2024, as you can see, if I could show this, China is providing almost 30% of the hardware import to the U.S. And whereas Canada are providing 73% of sawmill wood products for home construction. Again, China are providing 54.8% of plumbing fixtures and trim, and China provide 30% of the major appliances to the U.S. The U.S. exported goods worth $143.5 billion to China in 2024, a far cry from the more than $400 billion China exported to the U.S. So tariffs that impact home builders aren't limited to those imposed on individual countries. Trump previously placed a 25% tariff on all steel and aluminum products, and he's threatened numerous times to put tariff on lumber from Canada. Lumber is a major construction materials for home building. Put a tariff on lumber from Canada, which provides 73% of all U.S. sawmill wood imports. In summary, National Association of Home Builders has requested from the Trump administration a tariff exemption on building materials, but that request has yet to be granted. So what's my takeaway? My takeaway is all this inevitable news, the information you just heard from me, is going to happen. Home construction is going to cost more. And what's the best for you to do? I think you should, as a potential home buyer, I think what you should do is to accelerate your timeline to buy a house, especially new construction, because you got to pay more, and the incentives might go away. All the discount you're getting from the buying a new house in the past couple of years, it might go away because the home builders, the national builders, their profit margin is being squeezed. And so moving forward, in my opinion, in the future, other than this tariffs going on, which is very devastating news for the US economy and the housing market and the mortgage rate for that matter, what we're going to see is we're going to see continued lack of inventory. And if the new home builders are not building more homes, and in costing more to buy a new house these days for the reasons I just stated. And we have some very severe low inventory of homes to purchase. And the resale homes in the market are not helping because the mortgage rate has increased lately to all the way up to 7.07%. And that causes a lot of potential home buyers that a lot of concern. They may not even qualify to buy a home because of the skyrocketing home prices and the elevated mortgage rate. So it got just in this, we're moving to a spring home buying season, usually a very hot time of the season for home transaction. We're not seeing this optimism. And again, so if you think we just experienced this past 12 to 24 months, a housing sales crash that have never been in history. There's so few transactions due to the resale homes, people locked into their low historical mortgage rate, and they're not going to trade up to a home from 3% mortgage rate, 30-year fixed rate, to a 7% mortgage rate, which will more than double their mortgage payment. So people are not selling their homes. What we thought the new construction industry they're trying to do their best to put more inventory into the market in the past couple of years. They try to hang in there. And yet now that aspect, the home builder in construction, not only that, the ripple effect is going to go beyond this next 12 to 24 months, because with the elevated mortgage rate, if the mortgage rate remain around high 6% or even low 7%, we may even see mortgage rate higher than 7% as a result of the tariff situation with China. China could implode the U.S. housing market based on the trade war, the tap dance they are going through with the U.S. administration with Donald Trump. So this trade war situation has a very negative ripple effect. And so we're going to continue to see low supply of inventory for the foreseeable future and lower demand because of the higher mortgage rate we're seeing, 7% or even higher. Don't be surprised if the mortgage rate can increase beyond 7%. Then you could have low demand home buyers because of the cost so much to buy a house, and supply inventory still are severely lacking. We are still in a seller's market. According to Redfin, we have 4 months supply of inventory nationwide, and 4 to 6 months is a balanced market. 4 to 6 months of inventory is a balanced market. We're seeing 4 months. We are at the cusp of we are still in the seller's market at 4 months supply inventory nationwide. That means there are more potential buyers than there are sellers. The headwind, the tailwind is really going to be very challenging. The volatility of the mortgage rate and the trade war, the tariff, inflation issues, and all this uncertainty and volatility to the stock market. We thought the stock market has gone down last week and causing the 10-year treasury to lower, and we thought the mortgage rate, normally when there are negative news around the economy and the labor market, the 10-year treasury are affected by that. It is lower. The margin gets lower. So as a result, the mortgage rates normally would come down, would decrease. And we have seen that very briefly a couple of weeks ago, where the mortgage rate came down all the way down to 6.63%. And I thought, based on this negative economic news, and we thought the mortgage rate will come down below 6.6%, maybe even to 6.3, 6.2%, that could potentially stimulate more demand in the housing transactions. But that's not happening. And the mortgage rate shot up all the way back above 7%, and it could even go higher. So at the end of the day, the housing market is in a deep freeze. That is my opinion. Deep freeze is the housing market will be paralyzed. Paralyzed. Deep freeze is frozen. It's not happening. Everybody's standing put. It's just everybody is paralyzed with fear, uncertainty, and concern. It just caused the U.S. consumer, the home buying, the housing community to be fearful, to be paralyzed. Might as well not do anything until everything subsides. All right, that's all I have to say. So if you receive any value whatsoever from this video, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And also, if you're not already have done so, put your email on body of the description below on my website. By signing up to my website with your email, you will become a free member of our real estate investing community. And the value you're going to get is you can get free contents on a weekly basis, information coming into your email inbox about you're going to get free education around all aspects of how to become a real estate investor. So with that in mind, thank you so much for attending. This is Si Wing Yi, and I will see you on the next video very shortly. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.